FM.
Picture this. You, your family, and friends cruising glass full and having the time of your lives this Christmas. That's right, this Christmas at High Impact Cruise, we are turning up the fun factor to 11. Join us on December 10th at Al Fresco Cruise. Treat yourselves to an extraordinary night of indulgence surrounded by Lagos water. On December 25th for the Santa Cruise, and on December 26th for our Silent Disco Cruise. Bid farewell to the year in style at the Groovy Cruise on December 30th, and start the new year with a bang at the Symphony Cruise on January 1st. All cruises are on lock from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. This December is gonna be lit. For inquiries, please call 0815-181-9580 or 0818-824-5734, or visit www.highimpactcruise.com. You can visit us at High Impact Cruise Boarding Terminal, opposite Lagos House, Outer Marina, Lagos. High Impact Cruise. Dream, discover, explore.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Good morning and welcome to another thrilling edition of the Newspaper Review. I must say Happy New Month and Merry Christmas in advance. Welcome to the Newspaper Review on High Impact 102.1 FM. I am Olumide Shokoya. Of course, I'm not the only one. Sarah also is here. Happy New Month and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Yes, good morning. First off, let me say maybe my voice is as a result of the excitement of shouting Happy New Month.
Yes.
But then Happy New Month. It's the last month of the year 2023 and
Wow.
We're gearing up for the festive period. They say it's the most beautiful, wonderful time of the year.
Yes.
There's a phrase like that, but is the economy making it actually feel that wonderful? I am Sarah Uso-Ansah, by the way. Olumide already introduced me. And it just falls back to, I was just having a conversation with someone yesterday, and I'm like, I remember when we said Happy New Year.
Yes, how
Welcome
time
to
flies.
2023, and today we're already saying it's 1 month
Yes.
to the end of the year. And in view of this, the presidency or the federal government presented the 2024 budget to the National Assembly.
Yes.
And this is at about 27.5 trillion naira.
Yes.
And a lot of people have come out to, critique the government for the approach
Yes.
they took to do this, saying that they deployed a fire brigade approach because they needed to present the budget within a space of a month
Yes.
and what have you, and this has generated a lot of criticism.
Yes.
And they are also lamenting that the president even brought the budget to the assembly late, and he still expects the lawmakers to do a thorough job just within a few weeks.
And not to not to forget the loan, the $1 billion loan. I think there are about two of them. But, the major concern is $1 billion loan. What are we using it for? Not to forget the fact that 36 states are owing, they have debt. Serap wrote a letter to the World Bank
Not to give out loans.
to give out loans anymore. So, it brings into question that how are we even going to pay all this backlog of loans that we've acquired and the new ones that we are planning to get. And it's so amazing how the Senate is quick to approve these loans without any probe, without any panel, setting up any panel of inquiry to find out, okay, this loan, what are you going to use it for and how are you going to pay it back? Those are the questions that a lot of Nigerians are asking. But once our guest comes in, I think he will be able to, see us through and shed light on some other things. One of the interesting things that I found in the newspaper is new wage begins April. That's according to the federal government. The federal government has said that the previous regime ends March next year, so the new
We'll kick off
April
1st, and the new minimum wage will be implemented by then. I look forward to see that, and I want to see how states that have been struggling to pay the current 30,000 naira will be able to adjust to the new one.
I mean, not to forget that even the Labour Congress is saying that even the new minimum wage that they are proposing is still not enough. Labour is proposing, I think, 200,000 or thereabout, which, well, if you look at the economy and how things are going, you know it's not possible, it's not feasible to achieve 200,000 naira at this point with the rate that we're going with loans and all, except we are planning to acquire loans outside the country. But at least let's come to a common ground. If it's 50, I think it's still achievable. If the government step up their game, the new refineries that has been promised. Today is 1st of December. So any moment from now, we should hear the federal government announce that the Port Harcourt refinery is functioning and, move to other refineries. So I think that's all we have. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll start off with the papers.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Get ready to experience Christmas magic and more from December 22, 2023 to 2nd of January 2024 at High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort this holiday season. Woo-hoo! We've got fantastic rides, indoor football, splashing swimming pool, epic arcade games, and many more in a mega secure environment right here in Nigeria. Enjoy easy peasy commute with no traffic to kilometer 12 Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Ibadan, Ogun State. Don't miss the early bird offer with a super duper 10% discount on apartment prices when you book a minimum of 2 nights from October 9th to November 31st, 2023. Visit www.iimpactplanet.com or call 081-4229-9509 or 0812-271-4373 for more details.
This place is like the only amusement park resort in Nigeria. I like the games I did, the rides I took, the food was even nice, and they know how to treat people.
High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort, the destination of choice.
Welcome back to the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM. Don't forget you can also join the conversation by calling our phone line 0700 1021 1021. You can also send WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. We're streaming live on YouTube and Twitter at High Impact 102.1 FM. Let's start off with the Punch newspaper this morning. On the Punch newspaper, the bold headline reads, New wage begins April. Federal government votes 24 trillion naira for salaries. We have two writers to that story. Labour, federal government begins talk. Current wage regime expires March ending, says minister. Second writer says federal government laments fiscal deficit. Reps condemns high MDA salaries and demand ICPC probe. Federal government and Labour begins talk. Now, I hope this talk will lead to something good. I hope it will not, go south. It will not go left, and we will hear the Labour declaring another round of strike again. I hope they can come to a compromise this time around. Let them decide. The Labour is fighting in the best interest of the people, I guess. And the federal government
some people don't believe that Labour is fighting in the best interest of everyone. Some people have the perspective that Labour is fighting for majorly those in the public and civil servants. Because when you hear some of these new, benefits that are rolled out, they are usually channeled towards civil servants, those in public service. How about the organized private sector, those that are in that sector? They are also citizens of the country. So
Well, like I said, I hope they come to a compromise. This time around, it's a compromise. It's not you trying to prove a point. You're trying to, it's a compromise this time around. At least we all know that the economy is not buoyant. So we cannot be asking for high figures and all that. So let's move on. There's a picture here, and you can see King Charles III with our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the headline says COP28, President Tinubu meets King Charles Nigeria and others eye $261 billion fund. Wow, you can get more of that on Punch newspaper this morning. Right above the nameplate, we have CBN fund. Senate threatens to order gas companies probe. I mean, the Senate is probing everything. But the problem I have with any probe or any panel setup is we do not see no prosecution, nothing. It's swept under the carpet. I mean, if you remember the Federal Character Commission, we didn't hear anything. That's been swept under the carpet.
And at the time, there was so much intensity into the investigation. But let's not say it has been swept under the carpet. Let's just say investigation is still ongoing.
Okay. I
want to believe that something will come out of it. That takes me back to something, just drifting away a little from this. Yesterday, I saw it on social media. This student, Sylvester Oromoni, I hope I got that name correctly.
I saw that story.
His father came out to say it's 2 years already.
2 years.
Nobody has been held accountable. Justice has not been served. And according to the father, his body is still in the mortuary. So when we're talking about things being investigated, sometimes our process takes a very long time, and eventually a lot of people even seem to forget that there's a case going on in that regard.
Yes. We can only pray that while the investigations are going on, I believe the family would love to have a proper burial for their child. So, even though the judiciary at times might be slow, but let's just put our hope and trust in the judiciary. Let's move on. Shuaibu free to contest Edo governorship. That's according to Governor Obaseki. I hope they have settled. I hope there will be no more rifts between the two of them. You know, there had been a lot of controversies. You know, Shuaibu coming out to say he was locked out of his office, and at a point the party had to wade in and settled. And now Shuaibu has come out to declare that he wants to run for Edo governorship, and Obaseki is saying that he is free. Well, being free to run does not necessarily mean he's supporting Shuaibu. We need to understand that. But let's see how that will play out. We have another one here. Federal government pays 585 million naira fines, begins nationwide prisoners release. I think that's a notable one. It's good, because if you look at some of the people in these correctional facilities, some are in the correctional facilities for something as low as 400,000 naira, and they've spent years in the correctional facility for 400,000 naira. So I think this is one of the ways that we can decongest the correctional facilities. We can, just help people. Moving on, we have just 3 more stories to take. We have this one. This one's interesting. Jakpa, federal government urges varsities to produce more doctors. I read a story that I think it's Luth. Yes, Luth had to shut down some facilities because the number of doctors and nurses have drastically gone down, and it's alarming. It's worrisome. Yes, it's actually worrisome, because if these numbers keep reducing, I know at the point we had the figures was I think 1 doctor to about 1,000 patients. I don't know what the figure is right now, and it's really worrisome. If doctors are leaving in droves, who are going to take care of? We can't even afford to have any other pandemic anymore, because it's going to be really drastic. So I think the federal government, not only if you are urging universities to produce more doctors, it's the same trend. They would, of course, get their degree and probably leave. But if you create a system, a mechanism that would take care of the doctors, that would provide all their wages, remuneration, everything that they need, I think they would. It's not as if people don't want to work, but when you are working in an economy or in a system whereby it does not take care of your needs, salaries are not going up. It's there. I mean, so many things, so many remunerations, so many packages are not being paid. I think the same trend will continue. So I think the federal government needs to create a system whereby people would finish and want to work in the country. Let's quickly move on. Kwara Monarch and 2 others bag life jail for kidnapping. That's on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And lastly, Assembly drops suit against Ayedatiwa. EXCOs embraces peace. There was an impeachment process that was instituted against Aiyedatiwa, and I think everything has been, the fire has been quenched. I think Governor Akeredolu has been allowed to continue running the government, and Aiyedatiwa, rumors according to allegations that he was made to sign a document that he would be of best behavior, which President Tinubu waded in to solve the whole matter. And I think that's all we have on the Punch newspaper this morning.
From the Punch newspaper, we move very quickly to the Daily Trust newspaper. But remember, you can be a part of the conversation. Do well to call us on 0700-1021-1021. You can also send a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. We're streaming live on Twitter at High Impact 1021 FM and on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM. Straight to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. The major caption has to do with the 2024 budget, how to get 2024 budget right. That's coming from Economist. And the writer says proposal low compared to South Africa, Ghana, and others. That's according to the LCCI. Another writer here says Nigerians not interested in figures, but I'm sure you want to know what that but is, and that statement is credited to Romani. You can get more details on page 4. And senators and reps consider Tinubu's 27.5 trillion naira budget without details. The clause without details.
That's worrisome. Without details.
I would like to get into this with our guests to understand this properly, but you can get more details of the story on page 4. Above the nameplate, 9 months after, Lagos Airport International Runway remains closed. I hope that we don't get to that phase where we are synonymous with abandoned projects or doing things and leaving them halfway. 9 months after, Lagos Airport International Runway remains closed. Get more details on page 23 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Nigerian nurse in UK sacked, deported over prayer for dying patient.
Yes, I saw that story. A caregiver, she was working in a care home, and she prayed for one of the dying patients that God will heal her. And I think the authorities heard about it and they were not so happy. In the other maybe in Nigeria, we are, I don't like to use that word, we are religious. But in other clans, it's another different, and you have to adapt to their way of life.
I don't even think it's just a Nigerian thing. I think it's an African thing.
Yes. You have to just adapt to their way of life. Over there, it's a different ball game, and you have to adapt to it. They do not put sentiment, they don't put religion into things. They do it as it's supposed to be. You are employed to do so. That's what you are supposed to do.
Right. Well, you can get more details on page 6 of the Daily Trust. Villagers flee as soldiers leave Kaduna community. This is villagers flee as soldiers leave Kaduna community. There was a sort of calm owing to the fact that, we know we have security agents here, soldiers are here, but now the soldiers are leaving, and this has made villagers flee this community. That's a page 33. Read on the Daily Trust newspaper. Navy arrests 2 ships crew for illegal fishing. That's a page 52 read. And lastly, on the front page of the Daily Trust, 1,001 students on Kano State governorships foreign scholarships departing to their respective designation. There's a pictorial representation of that. 1,001 students on the Kano State government's foreign scholarship departing to their respective destination. It's good to see the Kano State doing this.
But I think I am not. I have a problem with this. It's not a problem, but the students that are going on foreign scholarship, do they have an agreement that they are coming back? Because if we are sponsoring 1,001 students to go abroad and study, I hope they are bringing back that knowledge to come and improve and boost that particular state. Not Nigeria as well, but at least Kano State. I think that's the focus here. And while we are sponsoring foreign scholarship, why not sponsor local scholarship? We have universities around. If not in Kano, if they do not wish to study in Kano but other parts of the country, the government can sponsor this scholarship so that it remains in there. We are spending in the country. The money is circulating in the country. So, while they want foreign scholarship, I hope they are coming back. They are not going and not coming back. That's my own take about this scholarship.
Right. I believe they've had a sort of conversation in that regard. But that's it on the Daily Trust newspaper. 0700-1021-1021 is the number to call. Send a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. And that's all on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
Welcome back. Don't forget you can join us. You can call 0700 1021 1021 and send WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. And you can also stream live on YouTube and Twitter at High Impact 102.1 FM. Straight on to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. We have some interesting stories on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Federal government FDAs now undertakers of businesses. That's according to Man and Necker. We have a couple of riders to that story. Lament rising inflation, multiplicity of taxes, threat of strikes and protest. Says Nigeria needs investment to create jobs. I support that. Nigeria actually needs more investment to create jobs. Lord organized businesses for resilience. People not interested in budget fixed figures. If prices of bread, rice remain high. Yes, I think that's what the people, if not majority of them, some of them are saying. I mean, most people are not interested in the budget figures. Prices of bread, especially rice. I heard there's been another 5,000 naira added to the price of. I don't even know how much.
The price of rice keeps going up every day.
And this rice is produced locally. I want to believe that.
Well, so they've opened the borders now, again. And so at a point importation was banned and all of that. Yes. But now people are bringing what they call foreign rice into the country. But besides rice, besides grain,
yes,
everything is very expensive. I was at the market yesterday. I wanted to buy beans, and I was taken aback by the price of beans.
Yes.
I'm like, what exactly is going on? And they had to start explaining how much they buy a bag of beans now. And by the time you also hear the difference, down to sugar, as little as sugar looks, everything is now very expensive.
Very, very expensive. And I think that's what the people are talking about. Just below the nameplate, we have a picture here of King Charles III and President Tinubu, and the headline reads, Tinubu meets King Charles III. To other stories, we have Supreme Court judgment. Tension grips Nasarawa. That's on page 2 of the Vanguard newspaper. U.S. star diplomat Henry Kissinger dies at 100. That's on page 8. 135 billion naira CBN intervention funds. Senate to unleash EFCC and ICPC on defaulters. 135 billion naira Central Bank of Nigeria intervention funds. Wow. Well, let's see what the EFCC and ICPC can uncover, what they can unravel in this investigation. You can find more of that on page 8. Ministers to reps, education facing huge problems. That's on page 2. While the budget, this 2024 budget, I think the highest is defense. The highest amount goes to defense, and I think that has to do with insecurity. They are trying as much as possible to take care of insecurity, but we also need to take a critical look at education. Education is always taking, if not the lesser or the least amount. I think we really need to improve on that, and I'm happy the minister is calling the National Assembly to this. Education facing huge problems. I think all right, that's about it from the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
And lastly, we'll take a look at the Guardian newspaper very quickly. The big story on pages 4 and 5, International Day. Amid ravaging scourge, HIV cure vaccine still elusive 42 years on. Today's World AIDS Day, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, just to confirm that, because this headline on the Guardian newspaper talks about HIV and AIDS. Yes, today is World AIDS Day, and Amid ravaging scourge, HIV cure vaccine still elusive 42 years on. And there's a breakdown here about how 1.9 million Nigerians living with HIV/AIDS as of 2022. That's quite a high number there.
Very high.
And 42% are male, while 58% are female, according to the estimate. 22% is driven by a large number of states with transmission rates, and 25 few states with rates below 15%. There is also a donor agency spend over $750 million, and the National HIV Strategic Plan 2021-2025 will require $2.8 billion to finance it. All of this is on pages 4 and 5. You want to take a look at it as it's World AIDS Day today. Nigeria missing as HIV prevention products for women arrives 11 African countries. Please, why are we missing? Huh? Nigeria missing as HIV prevention product for women arrives 11 African nations. That's on news page 3. Reps knock oil operators over letdown of host communities. That's on page 27. National Assembly begins debate on 2024 budget despite debt servicing concerns. That's on page 6. Lagos Assembly takes inventory of failed state road. That's also on page 26. Still on the Guardian newspaper, 135 billion naira intervention funds. Senate may alert anti-graft agencies on recovery. That's on page 6 as well. And lastly, United Nations and leaders call for action, higher ambition as COP28 opens in Dubai. That's on news page 3. And those are the stories on the Guardian newspaper. 0700-1021. 1021 is the number to call. Send a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. We'll take a break now. When we're back, we'll get into the second half of the conversation. Just stay with us.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call
0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Welcome back to the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM. Don't forget, you can also join the conversation. You can dial 0700 1021 1021, and you can send WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. We're streaming live on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM and Twitter at High Impact 102.1 FM. Right now, let's begin the conversation, and we're joined by Dr. Adedayo Kayode. Good morning, sir. Happy New Month. Merry Christmas in advance.
Yeah, good morning to you. How are you this morning?
I'm fine, sir. How are you today?
It's great to be in December.
Yes, it's great to be in December, even though the economy doesn't feel like it, but we're still glad we're alive.
That's the truth.
Yes.
That's the truth.
Yes, sir. All right, let's take you up on the Punch newspaper this morning. It says new wage begins April. Federal government votes 24 trillion naira for salaries. Now, Labour and federal government
I can't hear you, please. I can't hear you.
All right, let me state it again. The Punch newspaper this morning states new wage begins April next year. That's April 2024. Federal government votes 24 trillion naira for salaries. Now, Labour and federal government are to begin talks on the current wage regime. Expires March next year. That's according to the minister. So my first question is, this talks between the new minimum wage between the federal government and the Labour Congress, it has been exhausting. They've gone on strike. They've threatened so many times to go on. The mother of all strikes. So many talks has been. It has been really exhausting. So what? Let's get your thoughts about the new minimum wage. Even as much as some states are still struggling to pay the current 30,000 naira minimum wage, is it even possible that we can begin a new phase of a new minimum wage come next year?
Yes, you see, I've been saying it, and I will continue to say it, that telling labor, or even labor itself, asking for minimum wage is denigrating. It's denigrating. What do you mean by minimum wage? Are you servants? You are not servants, you are workers. There's a difference between being a servant and being a worker. A servant can be equated to a slave, while as a worker, you must have dignity. There must be dignity in labor.
Yes.
But when you are asking for wages, minimum wage, then it is denigrating as well as archaic. And this problem will persist if the narrative is not changed. And that is why for close to 8 years now, I have been clamoring that labor should change its narratives and strategy by asking for sustainable minimum living standard. Sustainable minimum living standard. The moment you are asking for that, yes, government might not want to give it to you, but then you must pass that road once, and the moment you pass it, that's the end.
All right, Dr. Adedayo Kayode, before you progress further,
yes,
I'd like to take you up on that word, sustainable minimum standard. Now, the Labour Congress...
Sustainable minimum living standard.
Sustainable minimum living standard. Now, the...
Living standard, yes.
Standard. Now, the Labour Congress at the time proposed 200,000. So, in your own opinion, in your own personal opinion, what is sustainable minimum living standard?
Yes.
What figure can you think?
Yes, great. That's what I was expecting. That's why I did not go further. I want you to ask further questions on it. Now, when you ask for minimum wage, the moment that wage is being given, it has been given, nothing more. Then you'll be waiting for another time whereby you negotiate for it. But when you are talking about sustainable minimum living standard, already you have put rope on the neck of the government, because any distortion in that agreement, any distortion brought about by probably increments in tariffs, increments in this, increments in pump price, inflationary rate in the country, and all that, must automatically reflect, because it is no more sustainable That is why that word sustainable must be maintained there. The moment there is a distortion in the communique side, because it will be stated there clearly, any distortion brought about by anything, it must be affected. By so doing, some things will not be in place. Government will be careful in increasing various tariffs at any point in time. Government will know that yes, there are some facilities that are supposed to be termed social. Government will know that yes, there are some tariffs that should carry that value of social and economy. Will be mixed in that kind of a tariff. Again, the labor we carry that status of dignity, whereby they say there is dignity in labor. But this one that is happening, there's no dignity in labor, because they are being treated anyhow. They are being treated like a goat, and they allow themselves to be.
All right.
They have allowed themselves to be. If they want me, if labor is listening and they want me to break it down further, I think I will. Don't ask me to break it down further, because I will collect consultation fee.
All right, Dr.
This is not completely.
Yes, I understand. It's a fantastic idea, but the government we are dealing with, they are known for reneging on their promises. So even no matter how fantastic the idea, no matter how fantastic the proposal you bring to them, they will sign it, but they would not implement it.
Let me tell you this, sir. Let me quickly tell you this.
Yes, sir.
This 209, let's even assume government proposed 200,000 to them. I bet you, the moment they are paying that, the moment government is paying that 200,000, they will bring in one tariff or the other, or the poor price, to get it back from labor. Forgetting that it is not only labor that is in the employment market. Are you with me?
Yes.
That is one. Two. You see, I was at a function yesterday in Unilag, and some people were talking about people getting disillusioned. They went to toll gate to demonstrate. Some of them were killed, this and that, and because of that, people want to be on their own and that. Yes. And again, in addition to it, because it's the same thing, government always renege on various forms of agreements.
Yes.
To what extent have you been able to stand up sincerely with that government? I mean, because along the line, look at what happened to ASU.
Yes.
Along the line, ASU was broken down.
Yes.
Through the long throat of some people to go and now come back and establish another ASU. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So if only the people can come together and look at their common problem, just one common problem, and forget all other primordial differences in terms of religion, in terms of tribe, in terms of language, in terms of the black or blue or economy, social status. But then look at just one common. That is just one single commonality within the people. Like, for instance, starvation, hunger, hardship, excruciating pains that we are experiencing now. Just look at that. And specifically with government. Government will sit down. They will sit up. We have seen it happen before.
Yes.
And it can still happen. And it will still happen.
Thank you very much.
So when somebody is saying government is reneging, yes, government will renege because they know that easy and quiet. They can always bamboozle one or two, three people, and then break the rank and file.
All right, let's move your attention to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. There are two stories I would like us to take. The first one says villagers flee as soldiers leave Kaduna community. This is really worrisome. If the law enforcement...
I'm not hearing you.
All right, and from the Daily Trust...
I'm not hearing you. Since you are far from your...
Can you hear me now, sir?
I'm hearing you now.
All right, I'm taking you to the Daily Trust newspaper. I want us to take two stories. The first one, villagers flee as soldiers leave Kaduna community. Now, if the security agencies are leaving a particular place, the security agencies are some sort of trust, some sort of belief that the people have that, okay, I am safe. Now, if the soldiers are leaving and villagers are fleeing, what is left of that community? What would happen to that community?
Why will villagers and the soldiers not clash? They will clash because the soldiers too, they are in the system. I will give you an example.
Okay.
I will give you an example.
Okay.
Because when you look at our country now, there is what we call multi-level extortion of the people. Multi-level extortional of the people. I'll give you an example. Look at what the discos are doing. I belong to Ikeja Electric, so I'll use Ikeja Electric as an example. It's now saying yes, everybody should upgrade their meter. If you want to upgrade your meter, you have to go to a particular site, put in your what do I call it now? NIN, put in your NIN, meter number at this site and wherever. Two things I have seen there. Number one, that thing has no value added to whatever NEPA and to whatever Ikeja Electric is doing for us. No value added. Because easy and quiet, you can obtain everybody's NIN within your constituency from the agency that has those things.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Two, that site, Papa, you know what is happening now? When you go to a particular site, you pay. And then they pay the owner of the site. Look at how many millions of people will have gone there to do it. And then also, that site, they made it difficult for you not to even go. And then so that you'll be going there all of the time. Money for them. And nobody is asking questions on that. Three, those sites, that site that is not going, you are now forced to go to their offices, their various offices, whereby those people there, they have a special way of doing it, and before you know it, pap, the thing has done. You know what they're also collecting from 500 naira to 1,500 that they're also collecting. So tell me, somebody faces frustration. Will such people not attack their officials? Anyway,
all right, quickly,
you have been trying to do it. No, you are not having light. When you don't have light, you don't have water. When you don't have water, there is problem in the house. Frustration will set in. And then any little spark anywhere, there will be problem. And that is exactly that can be likened to why security agency, I mean the community will be fighting security agencies.
All right,
because what they are supposed to do there is to maintain order, peace, ensure security of the people. But what do they do? At the end of the day, what do they do? Go and check all those ones that you have on the way to Ekiti. All those military guys you have on the way to Ekiti. Go and check out what they are doing. Just hide somewhere and check out on what they are doing. one day the community will clash with them.
All right, sir.
And these are the
Dr. we have a lot to cover, so let's. I would like to move quickly and bring you up on this one. Another interesting story here. 9 months after, Lagos Airport International Runway still remains closed. Let's get your thought on that.
It still remains what?
Closed. Lagos Airport International Runway, yes, still remains closed 9 months after.
Yes. I wrote an article some time ago. I wrote an article long time ago. Death of professionals at the Nigeria aviation system. Go there and find out how many experienced professionals you now have at our airports. How many? What is the experience of those that are there now? Yes, some are still experienced, some are still capable, but what's the percentage? That is an angle to read. The second angle to read, when you are talking about maintenance of facilities in Nigeria, it's not only runway, facilities generally in Nigeria. What has been the direction that we always do? Is it for those facilities to be properly maintained with the amount of money devoted to it, or for those facilities to get deteriorated while some people's pockets are being filled up? Is that our philosophy? So those are the things that we need to look at for us to properly understand. While till now, the runway of an international airport of a country like Nigeria can be closed for 9 months, and at the end of the day, Nigerian airports will be saying they have certification from ICAO. How they always get their certification, I don't know. I still don't know. When all the necessary equipment and facilities that are expected to be there are not there, you still get your certification. How? I remember in 2010 when the Tracon was about to be how do they even put it again now? To be launched. The Tracon that has not been completed. It wasn't even up to 60%. It hasn't even reached up to 60% completion. Before the dead president said he wants to come and inaugurate it. I said, inaugurate what? Incidentally, on that very day, I was attending an aviation conference at Sheraton then. I said, inaugurate what? Something that is not yet completed, and that is why it is today. You see that Tracon going out of service, breaking down. So that's the issue. And who are there to talk? Everybody wants to protect his own job. Instead of them to speak up, they will not. Until when investigative journalists gets there and then bring out the information. Look at what we have seen now. Anyway, I'm sure somehow the leadership deficit that we are having in this nation will be solved.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Adedayo Kayode. Thank you. It's been an impactful knowledge. It's been an impactful discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sparing time.
Thank you for having me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy weekend and happy new month. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year also in advance.
Same to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Wow. Yes, it was quite interesting what Dr. Adedayo Kayode said. A lot. I couldn't even get so much from him, but at least the little we got from him was really impactful, and we can only hope that these talks between the federal government and Labour, it yields something.
It's going to be very great if we see Labour and federal government, reach a truce and just come up with something. Come 2024, we don't want to keep seeing these back and forth between Labour and the federal government. Let them have an understanding. I know that Labour is trying to, push for the interest of Nigerians, even though some persons have the opinion that it's a selected set of people. They need to include those in the organized private sector to these things.
Yes.
But we need to just do things right.
Just like Dr. Adedayo said, he said they should come up with some, rather than minimum wage, they should come up with rather sustainable minimum living standard, which I think would last through different times. And we can also only hope that the federal government will not do as they always do, reneging on every promises. They would hold them accountable and they will keep to their words.
Right.
And this is where we round up today's program, the Newspaper Review on our Impact 102.1 FM. Thank you very much for listening. I am Olumide Shokoya. Do have yourself a lovely weekend.
And thank you for joining us from Monday through to Friday. I am Sarah Wuso, and remember to follow us across all of our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM and News Around the Globe _. Happy New Month once again, and have yourself a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye.